Welcome, everyone. Friday night and the weekend's here. I need to unwind. Where's a party? The party's right here. This is where the party is at tonight. Why is that, Angela? Why would you possibly think that reading a bedtime story would be a party? Why? Because tonight we are affirming what? The reality of your own greatness. Listen, let me turn my iPad. See, now them words are bigger. Yeah. I like when the words are bigger because now I'll have to. Okay, wait. I gotta. So I can see the words. But I trust that everyone had a great day today. My day was productive. I thought outside of the box on many occasions today, and I was so proud of myself. Um, and then I made a really great supper. Uh, yeah, all in all, I feel good. I feel like this is a really good end of the day. And so I trust that you had that as well. Now, tonight, affirm the reality of your own greatness. Well, if you don't affirm it, who will? You have to affirm it so that others will affirm it too. They'll confirm. Right? Queen Marat, hey, say hello to the girls. um, but yes, you see, some may think that that is arrogant, but your self concept, what you believe of yourself, is how you're going to live. So remember in the Bible when Joshua, he was given the land of milk and honey, Canaan, and he was like, oh my God, we're like grasshoppers in their sight. See, his concept was he was small and not worthy, and thus they couldn't take the land. See, that story doesn't have anything to do with a war or killing anybody and taking their land. It has to do with the recognition that the way you see yourself is how you will be perceived by others. That is the moral of the story. You understand? Anywho, let's get crack-a-lacking. Affirm the reality of your own greatness. This is a radio talk on station KECA Los Angeles from July 1951 by Neville Goddard. It's the last one in the series. How appropriate, because we'll start something new on Monday. I don't know what just yet, but we shall. It'll be Neville again. But we'll start something new come Monday. Affirm the reality of your own greatness. In the creation of a new way of life, we must begin at the beginning with our own individual regeneration. The formation of organizations, political bodies, religious bodies, social bodies is not enough. The trouble we see goes deeper than we perceive. The essential revolution must happen within ourselves. Everything depends on our attitude towards ourselves. That which we will not affirm within ourselves can never develop in our world. This is the religion by which we live. For religion begins in subjective experience, like charity. It begins at home. Oh my God, my father always says that to me. Charity begins at home. It, pardon me, it always starts with self. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind is the ancient formula, and there is no other. Everything depends upon man's attitude toward himself. That which he cannot or will not claim as true of himself can never evolve in his world. Man is constantly looking about his world and asking, hey, what is to be done? What will happen? When he should ask himself, who am I? What is my concept of myself? If we wish to see the world a finer, greater place, We must affirm the reality of a finer, greater being within ourselves. It is the ultimate purpose of my teaching to point the road to this consummation. I'm trying to show you how the inner man must readjust himself. What must be the new premise of his life in order that he may lose his soul on the level he now knows and find it again on the higher level he seeks? It is impossible for man to see other than the contents of his own consciousness. For nothing has existence for us save through the consciousness we have of it. The ideal man is always seeking a new incarnation, but unless we ourselves offer him human parentage, he is incapable of birth. We are the means whereby the redemption of nature from the law of cruelty is to be effected. Did you hear it? Because I know a lot of people think that humanity is cruel and violent, but listen, we are the means whereby the redemption of nature from the law of cruelty is to be effected. The great purpose of consciousness is to effect this redemption. Notice how he uses the word effect and not affect, cause and effect. Hmm? Change the cause, you bring about the effect. If we decline the burden and point to natural law as giving us conclusive proof that redemption of the world by imaginative love is something that can never come about, we simply nullify the purpose of our lives through want of faith. We reject the means, the only means whereby this process of redemption must be effected. Imagination is the only means. The only test of religion worth making is whether it is true born, whether it springs from the deepest conviction of the individual, whether it is the fruit of inner experience. No religion is worthy of a man unless it gives him a deep and abiding sense that all is well, quite irrespective of what happens to him personally. Whoa. No religion is worthy of a man unless it gives him a deep and abiding sense that all is well, quite irrespective of what happens to him personally. In other words, whatever is happening to you, you have something that is true to hold on to that lifts you. Because what does it do? It says it gives him a deep and abiding sense that all is well, no matter what happens to him personally. The methods of mental and of spiritual knowledge are entirely different. For we know a thing mentally by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analyzing and defining it. Whitehead has defined religion as that which a man does with his solitude. Well, I should like to add, I believe it is what a man is in his solitude, not what he does. Because in order to do, you must be. So, what is a man in his solitude? He can only do that. In our solitude, we are driven to subjective experience. It is then that we should imagine ourselves to be the ideal man we desire to see embodied in the world. If in our solitude we experience in our imagination what we would experience in reality had we achieved our goal, well, we will in time become transformed into the image of our ideal. I'm going to read this for my special friend one more time. If in our solitude we experience in our imagination what we would experience in reality had we achieved our goal, well, we will in time become transformed into the image of our ideal. Be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Put on the new man. Speak every man truth with his neighbor. The process of making a fact of being, a fact of consciousness, is by the renewing of the mind. Again, the process of making a fact of being, a fact of consciousness, is by the renewing of the mind. We are told to change our thinking, but we can't change our thoughts unless we change our ideas. Our thoughts are the natural outpouring of our ideas, and our innermost ideas are the man himself. The end of longing is always to be, not to do. What's that song from Sister Act? If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention, right? So it says the end of longing is always to be. You want to be. You don't want to do. It is the being that shows you what to do. So if you don't be, you will not do. Eh? Be still and know I am that which I desire. Strive always after being. Strive after always being. Being. Let us expand upon that. Let me slide in here. When he says strive after being, when you want something, that is doing, because you want to do something with it. You want to do something with this, the object of your desire, the object, the thing. But to strive after being means you become, you embody. That is what it means to strive after being, to embody that which you want to become in the world. For instance, you don't want to do freedom, you want to be free. So you've got to be free in here, in the mind's eye. You have to be free in the mind's eye. Why? As within, so without. Because if you think about it, lots of people walk around and they are mentally incarcerated. Their bodies might be free, but their minds are incarcerated. The mind is locked up. As the great Bob Marley said, none but ourselves can free ourselves from mental slavery. Mental, because listen, it is only mental. The universe is a mental creation because the all is mind. So to be, didn't Hamlet say it? To be or not to be? Well, that's the question. To be or not to be. Listen, even Shakespeare knew the principles. Assume a virtue if you have it not. So embody the virtue of the. Mm. This is why we don't get it. Embody the virtue, because the thing that you want to have, the thing that you want to have, right? It's physical, it's on the outside, but what is it on the inside? It has its own virtue on the inside so that you can embody it on the outside. So when you're talking about, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to be infamous, I want to be free. We could do Queen. I want to break free, right? We could do that too. But what does it mean to be free? What does it mean to be free? What does it mean to be wealthy? There are virtues. There are behaviors then that embody wealth. Well, think about it. We always say the rich are wicked. How else did they come by all that money? So now we are attributing money with the virtue of evil. And what do we do with evil? We try to avoid it, don't we? So if you say the virtue of wealth is evil, how are you going to be wealthy? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. But let me focus. Let me focus. External reforms are useless if your heart is not reformed. Ooh, Angela, can you say that again? Nice and steady and slow? Yes, I can. External reforms are useless if your heart is not reformed. Heaven is entered not by curbing our passions, but rather by cultivating our virtues. Eh? See, let me slide in. Some of us pray and fast for 40 days and 40 nights because you curb the desire for food, you curb the desire for sex, you curb the desire for meat, you curb any kind of desire you want. But yet, the heart. Why the heart? Because as within, so without. So you can go out there and you can subdue every passion that you've got. But if your heart has not changed, then the external will not. So you labor in vain. It is the principle of correspondence, but you know. It says, because I got to read it again. External reforms are useless if your heart is not reformed. Heaven is entered not by curbing our passions, but rather by cultivating our virtues. An old idea is not fickly forgotten, it is crowded out by new ideas. It disappears when a wholly new and absorbing idea occupies our attention. Old habits of thinking and feeling, like dead oak leaves, hang on till they are pushed off by new ones. Creativeness is basically a deeper receptiveness, a keener susceptibility. The future dream must become a present fact in the mind of anyone who would alter his life. Why? How? How? Because the moment you begin to rehearse in imagination what you would experience in reality, you are taking your future and bringing it here right now. You're not waiting, in other words, for the harvest for 4 months. You're bringing it here and now by rehearsing it. And remember what happens when we rehearse, right? A neurological pathway. Yes, it is. And the neurological pathway is what you have to follow. It's the it's the neurological pathway you're following now. Anywho, the future dream must become a present fact in the mind of anyone who would alter his life. Every great outpicturing is preceded by a period of profound absorption. When that absorption is filled with our highest ideal, when we become that ideal, then we see it manifest in our world and we realize that the present does not recede into the past, but advances into the future. How, Angela, does the past not recede? Because the moment that you recall a past memory, especially listen, we only recall the memories that we felt. We only recall the memories that left an impression upon us. So, because we recall that memory that left an impression upon us, we feel it again, and the neurological pathway is already set because it was a swift impression upon the mind. So, you see, the past does not stay back there. The moment we keep reminiscing and ruminating on it, we bring it to the forefront again. Because, listen, the only reason why we ruminate and reminisce is because something left an impression upon us and we felt it with every fiber of our being. And it is that feeling, the thing felt, is the thing experienced. This is essentially how we change our future. A now, which is elsewhere, has for us no absolute meaning. We only recognize now when it is at the same time here and now. Sorry. When we feel ourselves into the desired state here and now, we have truly changed our future. It is this changing your future, he says, that he'll be talking about, but how he explains it here is so poignant. I'm going to say it to you again. When you sit down and you reminisce and you ruminate and you pontificate, okay, and you contemplate, because I'm waxing poetic tonight. When you sit and you do that, you are bringing that past memory here and now, which means, think about it. The thing that we usually tend to ruminate on is usually something that hurt us, isn't it? What happens to you when you ruminate on the thing that hurt you in the past? I'll wait. Oh, you hurt again. So was it in the past? It's here and it's now. If it was not here and now, it would not have hurt you here and now. So the thing that you are presently doing is the thing that you must be doing in order to change your life. That is why when you rehearse in imagination what you would experience in reality, you are not now taking the past, you're taking the future and bringing it here and now. Notice what you're doing. When you remember, you're bringing the past now and here. When you rehearse, you're bringing the future here and now. So, are you not doing the same thing in both scenarios? Bringing something from to, and you'll know when you do it because of how it makes you feel. And so, if you persistently reminisce, ruminate, pontificate, contemplate on the past, you will be reliving it. Mm? But if now you rehearse, project, mm, that's what you're doing. You're rehearsing it, you're drawing it out of the future into the present, just like you're drawing out of the past into the present. And what happens when you draw from either place? You express, you experience it. Listen, I trust that that makes sense because let me tell you something, Linda. It made sense to me. They tell you don't get high off your own supply, but that might be a little late for me. This is my supply and I'm always high on it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not talking about narcotics. I'm talking about this, the principles. Because this is the thing that people struggle with all the time when they say, well, I can't visualize, I can't do this, because they don't understand what you're doing. I'm going to say it to you one final time, and then we're going to move on. When you reminisce, ruminate, pontificate, contemplate the things that happened in the past, recognize that we only go back to the things that either have hurt us or made us feel really good. But either way, it left an impression upon you, and that's why you go back there and bring it forward. You take what was in the past and you bring it here and now so you can feel it and live it out. All right here. You're not doing it anywhere else, you're doing it here. So now to change your life, So, in other words, to remain the same, go back to the past and draw the past from the past to the present. That's if you want to stay the same. But if you want to change, go forward into the future and rehearse what you would experience in reality. So that's what you're doing in the past. You're just replaying. Here, you're still replaying, but you're replaying the future by rehearsing. Are you not? Every time you rehearse, don't you replay? Yes, you do. So when you do that, you're doing the exact same thing from both directions. You're going at a distance and bringing it to the present. And you only bring to the present that which you feel. Or else, why would you be thinking about it? I hope it makes sense. Hope, Angela, we don't hope. Hmm. Discouraged people are sorely in need of the inspiration of great principles. We must get back to first principles if we are to speak with a voice that will kindle the imagination and rouse the spirit. Again, I must repeat, in the creation of a new way of life, we must begin at the very beginning with our own individual regeneration. A man's chief delusion is his conviction that he can do anything. Man's chief delusion is that he can do anything. One must be. You must be. Hmm. It is hard for us to accept the fact that we of ourselves do nothing. It is especially difficult because it is the truth, and the truth is always difficult for man to accept. But actually, nobody can do anything. Everything happens. All that befalls man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him, all this happens. And it happens in exactly the same way that rain falls, as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. Well, this is a challenge to us all, yes? What concept are we holding of ourselves in the higher regions of our soul? You know I have to slide in here. When he tells you that you can't do anything, that is, it does not mean that all things are not possible. Those are not the same thing. He's saying to you, you can't make the rain fall. The rain falls as a result of a change in the atmosphere. So even with HARP, they have to change the atmosphere so that it rains or it snows. See, they even in their ability to tamper, they still are bound by law. You have to change the atmosphere to bring about what it is you want to do. So you can't do anything means you can't make it rain unless you're making it rain like that, right? But we don't do anything in and of ourselves. It happens as a result of. So he's saying to you, when you change your mental attitude, when you change your perspective, when you change your self concept, automatically you will change the contents of your experience in your life. Not because you made it happen. No, when you plant corn, you don't make corn grow. You plant corn, the only thing that will grow is corn. So corn happens as a result of you planting corn. So that is the difference between you can't do anything and all things are possible. Eh? So, anywho, everything depends upon man's attitude towards himself. That which he will not affirm as true within himself can never develop in his world. A change of concept of self is the right adjustment, the new relationship between the surface and the depth of man. Deepening is, in principle, always possible. For the ultimate depth lives in everyone. And it is only a question of becoming conscious of it. Life demands of us the willingness to die and to be born again. Yes? The willingness. But you see, let me slide in. We are unwilling. Oh, I don't even like saying that. Let me say it this way because it is always meant to encourage one. It is not that we are unwilling because we are unwilling. We are unwilling because we have set down a habit. And so we do it and we do it the same thing the same way every time. So that is what makes us unwilling. The faithfulness to the habit makes us unwilling. But here's your freedom. You can make any habit, honey. How does one make a habit? By doing the same thing the same way every time. So stop talking about, oh my God, I'm so lazy. I really want to change, but I can't. It's not that you cannot, it's just that the habit, the habit, you, we all know how powerful a habit is, don't we? Because what habits come to mind when I say habit? We think drugs, alcohol, or alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Sorry. Right? Any kind of, we call them addictions. But addiction is a habit. You do the same thing the same way every time, and you can't deviate from it. It's an addiction, aka habit. Use the right words and you'll set yourself free every time. So, in order, because we don't break them, because you can't, once that neurological pathway is set down in your brain, it's in your brain, unless Alzheimer's comes along to relieve you of your memories. So, in order to create a new pathway, you've got to do a new behavior longer than you've been doing the old, but sometimes not even longer, just with more intensity, just with more intensity. The desire to change must be stronger than the desire to remain the same. That's why it will leave its impression on you. This is why Neville says ad nauseum, the thing felt is the thing experienced. Ah, so it is not that we are unwilling to change. We just faithful to the habit. You see, we are meant to be faithful to a habit. So if we're going to be faithful to a habit, where's your freedom? Your freedom lies in choosing the habit that you want to be faithful to. That's what it is. So, no, sweet girl, no, home snake, you're not lazy. You're not unwilling. You just dealing with a habit. You see how much better that makes you feel so that you can conquer anything now? Alrighty then. In the words of Jim Carrey, alrighty then. So I can't believe I just did that on camera. Anyway, I digress. Okay. Life demands of us the willingness to die and to be born again. This is not meant that we die in the flesh. We die in the spirit of the old man to become the new man, that we see the new man in the flesh. Subjection to the will of God is an old phrase. Listen, subjection to the will of God is an old phrase for it, and there is, I believe, so new one. So there's no new one that is better. So subjection to the will of God. The will of God, you say, Angela. Yeah, here's what that means. If your desire to change is stronger than your desire to stay the same, whose will is that? God's will. Oh, why is it God's will? What makes it God's will? Do you not know that God is within you? Do you not know that God is within you? Do you not know that? And we keep looking on the outside. Where is God? Where is God? That's like I did that. And I said, the reason why I took my glasses off is because I'm pretending I'm my supervisor. I said to him, because he would always come out to my desk and go, I can't see, I got to get my glasses. And I said to him, do you not have a lanyard? Put your glasses on a lanyard and put them on around your neck. His glasses are hanging around his neck. And he goes, I can't find my glasses. He looking for them, but he made them accessible. He made them near to his heart, hanging on a lanyard. That's where God is. And here we are looking outside for God when God's here this whole time saying, hello. That's what he's saying, right? So that is the subjection to the will of God. In that self committal to the ideal we desire to express, all conflict is dispersed and we are transformed into the image of the ideal in whom we rest. Well, we are told that the man without a wedding garment reaches the kingdom by cleverly pretending. What now? We are told that the man without a wedding garment reaches the kingdom by cleverly pretending. Explain. He does not believe internally what he practices externally. Oh, real Ruby, I see you. Hey, girl. He uses the right words, but inwardly he believes nothing. Coming into the strong light of those far more conscious than himself, he ceases to deceive. I'm gonna let that just hang right there. A wedding garment signifies a desire for union. He has no desire to unite with what he teaches, even if what he teaches is the truth. Ooh, hallelujah. Therefore, he has no wedding garment. When we are united with the truth, then we will put off the old nature and be renewed in the spirit of our mind. Truth will strip the clever pretenders of their false aristocracy. Truth, in its turn, will be conquered and governed by the aristocracy of goodness, the only unconquerable thing in the world. The end. There concludes the whole book. I don't know which parts. I don't know which parts are going to stand out for you tonight, but what he just wrote there, to be united with what you teach. To be united with what you teach. Why is that? Because God is not mocked. And what does it mean that God is not mocked? It means as within, so without. Because the scripture tells you God is not mocked. That's with that which you have sown, that also shall you reap. As within, so without. This is why we practice. This is why we persist on a daily basis. Real Ruby, Queen Marad. Well, Twitter is just as Twitter is. Who's on fan base tonight? Let's flip over because that was the last of it. Oh, dare I say it is bumping on fan base tonight. Scotch Bonnet is in the house. KZ, Miss Charms. Hello. Flo Smiles, Moon and Dolphin Duck, and Ray Ray. Listen, as we remember what we practiced last night, if you weren't here, you're here tonight. So let's get her done. We have the ability to influence our external world by becoming that which we want to be on the inside, meaning changing the mental attitude, right? You thought about somebody and they called you. Listen, I can't even tell you how many times that happens to me at work. I think of someone like today, I was thinking about a client and I turned around, ding, and there was an email. From who? The client. And I said it to him. I said, funnily, I was just thinking of you. Really, I was just thinking of him. If I was thinking of a technician, the phone would ring and he's saying, hey, and I'm like, what is this? But that's what it is. So when you think of California, what are you thinking about? I saw someone say, "Oh, that's God's wrath," and I was like, you know what? I'm done. This is why people do unspeakable things. Talking about that's God's judgment on them. Really? You know why they say that? Because they don't know that God is within. That's why. Where is that deal? Hmm. Think about that for a moment. We do some atrocious things. Every holy war. Oh Lord, fan base be apping. Mm. We do holy wars in the name of God. This is what the Crusades were. Convert or die. Wait, what? It doesn't matter what they are. They all come from the same source, God itself. So how God is going to look at this everybody he made and says conform or die? What's that mean? Well, then I'm going to have to start looking at God with a side eye. Hello? So that's why I tell you, humanity has a funny way of doing things sometimes. We want to say it's God's wrath, but where is God? Who's the one pulling the trigger? Who's the one starting the fire? It wasn't God. That was some man or reptilian. I digress. Let me drink some water. Seem to have a reptile in my throat. Sorry. Scotch bonnet, don't come for me. Ugh. So tonight, let us not hide behind. You can't hide behind God. You are God. And now we got to take responsibility. Don't be walking around, oh, that's God's judgment. Too bad for you. No. You may agree, you may not. It's all right. I'm not here for you to agree or disagree with me. I'm here to cause you to contemplate, think about things. Because there's no God pulling the trigger. It's just man. So that should tell you that man is God. So as you think of California tonight, think on them with compassion. Shoot, because you would want somebody to help you, wouldn't you? You would want somebody to give you compassion. The funny thing is this. There's a scripture that says, let me see if I can paraphrase it. Um, God gives no mercy to the unmerciful. Why is that? As within, so without. In order to experience mercy, you have to be merciful. So, how can God give you mercy if you don't have it on the inside? You have to be merciful on the inside to experience mercy. I don't make the rules. That's the principle of correspondence, the second principle of creation. So, let us be compassionate in our thoughts, our words, and our deeds towards California. So, in these 5 minutes, what do you want to express towards California? What do you want to express towards them? Begin to feel that in yourself and just be it. They are you. They are me. We're all one and the same, right? So I told you what that little song was. California, California. Yeah. Mm? It's in here. So every time you hear that jam, every time you hear that song, people say, send them love and light. Man, put them in your thoughts by becoming that which you want them to be. Peaceful, safe, because you have to feel the sense of security. You're home, you're warm, you're safe, you are secure. See how it feels? Now project that outward like a Care Bear. So we gonna do it for 5 minutes. Let us slide into the silence with our hearts and our thoughts towards California. And there concludes our 5 minutes. Now, it is Friday night, so y'all may not be ready for bed. I know I'm almost, but not quite. I gotta spend some time with Lil Bit. Gotta hold him a little bit, you know. I've been gone from him all day. Anywho, as we put our heads on our pillows or wherever we're going tonight, hmm, what was the lecture called? Affirm the reality of your own greatness. That does not mean I am. No, that doesn't mean that you're this ogre and you're arrogant. That's not what it means. It means, who do I say I am? Let me be the best at being me. Or as fan base would say, be you without limits. You're limitless. So you must affirm the reality of your own greatness. That is a beautiful thing. Yes? Anywho, on Real Ruby. Yes, she says for California, yes, I am protected. That is exactly the phrase. Indeed, it is. So thank you all for being here tonight. Because y'all could have been anywhere, but you came to hang out with me. Oh, I really do appreciate that. I want some candy, though. I'm really having a hankering for candy. Hmm. Oh, Lord. I just might go get some candy. You see, when a desire takes you over, you gotta fulfill it. I just said, ooh, I want some candy. So I'm gonna go give me some candy because I do want it. Why? Because I do. Hello? Sorry. I can't avoid that. I just love to say it anyway. Um, I will see you guys. And if you want to hang out with me tomorrow on Fanbase, I'll be there 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Until 3 p.m. until, because we party over here on Fanbase. And yeah, maybe controversial. I don't know, because it is what it is. So hopefully I'll see you 3 p.m. Eastern. Those are the times of giving Eastern. You are so welcome, my beautiful real Ruby. Mm. Anywho, oh wait, Kitty. Hello, Miss Kitty. Long time no see. Just for you, I gotta do it because why not? Oh, Miss Kitty, look, let me get this nighttime chime. Let me get this nighttime chime before I don't get myself in trouble. Lord have mercy. Kitty. Anyway, just to give us something soft and sweet. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. Fan base. Once I close this room, I'll probably be in these fan base streets. You know me tonight. It's Friday. Yeah. Anywho, I love you all. Good night.